Hey, everybody. Michelle is here. This is going to be part 3, Pitfalls of Interpersonal Relationships on December the 6th, 2024. And so I brought up a term, that crab mentality, where it says here, is a mentality of which people will try to prevent others from gaining a favorable position in something, even if it has no effect on those trying to stop it. It is usually summarized by the phrase, "If I can't have it, neither can you." And so that's what's happening to us all over the planet. If it's not, and it's happening with the social media, the talk of banning certain social media platforms. Same mentality. It's a crab mentality. It's criminal energy to not bring us together. But at the same time, I can teach you how to still continue to put the pieces together despite all this kind of background noise and these attempts to grab at you, to distract you, to make you angry, to get you all worked up and in a fury, because that is what generates income for a lot of these advertisers, and also for the platform in general. If you're not going back and forth, arguing and carrying on, then you're not generating income. And so that's something, if you notice, had changed. And I think it was around 2022. I mean, that was the talk of the town, so to speak, what was happening on social media. How people were just so cruel, so it was just out of control. And I think it was around 2016, and something was going on with misinformation about the election and blah, 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 blah. And then if you paid attention, things started changing. And at first I was in agreement with, if someone's putting out misinformation, they ought to be, something needs to be done. But then I realized, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with who's putting out misinformation and who is attempting to, confuse us, and how we were pawns and puppets in the game of politics, in the game of these elite individuals, the hidden hands that actually are running things. Is that criminal negative energy. So I'll talk more about that. But if you paid attention, something was happening around 2016 where it wasn't that they were protecting us from free speech. No. What they were doing was attempting to enclose us more, okay, and give an illusion of free speech. But what in actuality, what we were living under was a hybrid dictatorship. Okay, we were living on a hybrid dictatorship. And so this is just something I'm making up. I don't know if it even let's see if it comes up with a meaning. Well, hybrid regime, that's possible too. It's a type of political system which was created as a result of incomplete democratic transition. So I don't know. I say a hybrid dictatorship. So you just put it together and think for yourself what that could mean to you. Okay, it's deception and manipulation to give you the illusion that you have more power than you do. We have very limited power if you think about it. If we had the power that we claim to have, or that was claimed to belong to us, then what's going on with social media platforms? Why are you bothering that? And I know we made a lot of mistakes with that. Like I said, it was an intentional confusion to suppress one person over another, and and that's all that was doing was the ones doing the suppression and oppression did not want any competition. Think about that. The ones doing the oppression, suppression, did not want any competition. Okay, that's about the free speech or the illusion of free speech. So on this part 3, I said something about if you do not want to be bothered, especially I mean, it can be literally, figuratively, metaphorically. I was going to say physically, if you don't want to be bothered, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And it has a lot to do with energy more than anything else. It has a lot to do with energy. And I told you, we're all energy. We're all spiritual energy. We're spiritual beings. And we use our material bodies as a way to survive on this planet and to learn and to evolve our consciousness. So I can remember a long time ago, I started to feel like, okay, I do not want to be bothered. And it was getting to a point too where, I was doing everything in my power to regain that or protect it. I did not want to be bothered. But I knew there was a reason for that. There was a reason for it, because I didn't like to be bothered by a certain type of draining energy from other people. Other people are, I mean, see, like I said, I did a lot of work on myself, okay, and a lot of it was due to I was attempting to make something illogical logical, and that's why it took so long. And what do I mean by that? Well, I kept assuming that I wasn't doing something the right way, because everybody kept telling me, look, somebody's going to knock you off your feet. Okay, somebody's going to do this. A lot of people were giving me all this information, which was nothing more, nothing less than garbage, and I think they meant well, but we are so unconscious about what we're saying to people. Here we go with these glasses. We're so unconscious about what we're saying to each other that we don't even realize what the hell we're saying. That's why I say you can't fool your consciousness. And so a lot of people are realizing that they have been over the course of 10, 15, 20, maybe even longer than that, they have been in a state of spinning. And there was no way that they could get out of that spin unless they reinvent the wheel. Literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. So I can remember, like I said, getting to a point to where, okay, I did not want anyone in my space, my invisible space, except somebody that I cared about or people that I cared about. Okay, that is the difference. Because even people that you're supposed to get along with, I wasn't getting along with them. Okay, and I'm not going to apologize for that, whether they're family members or not. Sometimes our energies just don't match, and that's fine with me. I don't see why that ought to be forced. I know a lot of people say, well, about family is everything. That's a bunch of bullshit. Okay, because in a lot of families, a lot of people were harmed most in their families by uncles, cousins. Okay, so we just need to be really, really open about what we're saying, but no one has to know that. Yes, I respect every one of my relatives as best I can, but I know of instances, I know some of the experiences that some people may have had with some of my relatives or some of my friends or some of my acquaintances. I know that some people have possibly had some negative experiences with those individuals. Okay, all because I didn't doesn't mean that it did not happen, is my point. Well, could not happen. But anyway, here's an example of a long time ago when I was when I started meditating in my late 20s, early 30s. And with meditation, it gets you aware. Okay, it gets you kind of focused, and you kind of your sensing start heightening. In other words, you start hearing a little differently, you started seeing a little differently. Everything just starts to change up on you once you start meditating. And I can remember going in certain places, like perfect example, go into a grocery store, okay, and pay attention to how we behave. So the registers, and that's probably why it could be why a lot of stores stop using cashiers, because there'll be 5 cashiers open, none of them doing anything. They're kind of standing around waiting for the customer to come to their lane. Then all of a sudden, everybody's in the store shopping. There's like so many people in the store shopping and, minding their own business, hopefully. And so, and like I said, the cashiers will be just standing there just waiting and waiting and waiting. And all of a sudden, let one person get into the lane and watch what happens. Pay attention. Watch what happens. All of a sudden, you think that you're the only one in line. You look around and all of the registers are filled with people. Why does that happen? That is the might of our thoughts. That is a perfect example of the might of our thoughts, and that our thoughts are energy, pulsating, impulsing energy. There's something about something about that. Someone did a study on it. Let me see if it's still up. It said something about why do we all rushing to the cashier, at the same time. Someone did a study on it, or what did I do? Someone did a study on it, I think, and I think they attempt to give their theories and opinions on it, but I can't remember what it was. But I'll find it. But yes, but for example, you do that on your own. For some reason, I noticed it only happens in grocery stores. I don't know of it happening anywhere else where, like I said, this cashier's going to be standing there. And as soon as one person goes in the line, everybody from the store is in line. It's crazy, but that's the energy of our thoughts. So our thoughts are emitting something that is causing people to want to rush to the registers. It's that kind of mentality that we have. And now I'll look it up and why we do that. So I started noticing that. I would go into the grocery store. The music is playing. It's very calm, and everybody's in the back of the store. I make my rounds. And when I make my rounds, I see everybody's in the back of the store looking at the meats, looking at the vegetables, looking here, looking there. And so since it was usually me that I was shopping for, I would make my rounds very quickly and then immediately, go to the register. And I'm telling you, within 5 minutes or less, everybody in the store is in line. Pay attention to that. Again, I'm going to look that up and find out what the hell is that about. I say it's about, I say it's just because we're interfering with the energy and our thoughts. All of a sudden we feel like we need to be rushing for some reason, or we feel something's going on with that. And it's annoying. It's annoying to me. And that's when I noticed I was getting so annoyed being around crowds of people. I realized there's just crowds of people. You go in the store, and it looks very peaceful. Everybody's, you don't see very many people. But if you go into the back of the store, or in some of the lanes, that's where everybody is. And it's like they get a signal. Uh-oh, somebody's in line, everybody. Come on, let's all go on and get in line. Like I said, I started noticing that, and that used to drive me insane. But anyway, what I'm going to do is do some research on that as to what's going on. But I know it has something to do with our energy. We're energy, and we're interfering with each other because we are massively overpopulated. We're not giving each other enough room to breathe. Okay, and that's why a lot of people do not want to be bothered most of the time, and I'm one of those people. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in the next video. So stay tuned.